Hello everybody and welcome to the MBS show reviews. We are going to review episode 16 of season 4, It Ain't Easy Being Breezies, written by Natasha Levinger. This is James Corck, and with me I have my good pal Norman Sanzo. Hey Norman.
Hello James, and hello audience. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm happy. Things are coming my way. My birthday is in just a couple of hours, literally, because we are recording this on March 13, 2014, and my birthday is literally tomorrow. So it's good. It's good.
So you can say it's everything turning up, James?
Everything is turning up my way. Yeah, it's pretty brilliant.
That's awesome. And since your birthday is tomorrow and you got really good news. And James, I was wondering, how would I do a Tumblr pony thingy? Because I want to do something like you do.
We're going to discuss that and further details on this week's episode of the MBS show.
Okay. Damn. That backfired. Anyway.
Today we're going to review an episode. But actually, I wanted to start with a little rant on something.
Yay! James Corck rants.
More than a rant, I'm going to hashtag that. I'm going to hashtag that because I love that. But more than a rant, I want to talk about how responsible you have to be when you become a celebrity within something. Like, whatever, okay? I'm not going to say who or what or why is inspiring me to say this, but I'm pretty sure that you can imagine, if you've been following us for a while, and you know my opinion on the brony analyst side of the fandom. When you are well known for something, when you have a hefty amount of followers, subscribers, fans, whatever, you have to be responsible with what you do. You have to know that what you say and what you do not only reflects on the person that you are, but it can also affect those who follow you. That means people can follow your example and do the same thing you're doing. For sake of example, I have Movies Late, okay? And I recommend everybody to go watch a movie like a Serbian film, which it's regarded as one of the most horrible things to have ever been graced a movie screen, okay? The movie is not only horribly made, but it's also horrible in its themes. And if I go with Movies Late and I say, I want you guys to check this out, this movie is great, not only am I being an absolute and complete douche, but I am also being irresponsible. The same way, with your behavior, you have to maintain. I'm not saying you cannot be crazy or you cannot be exaggerated or over the top, but you have to have a balance. You need to be level-headed. If you are not, you're going to end up getting in trouble and you're going to end up losing a lot of things. If suddenly you create something and you become super popular and you are like, oh, I cannot take this, the weight of fame is too much for me. Instead of having a knee-jerk reaction and acting like a petulant child, you need to grow up and know how to take it. Instead of just going, flip the table, I'm out of here. Or even worse, flip the table and then I'm going to piss on the table and set it on fire. Okay? By the way, difficult to set a table on fire after pissing on it. But honestly, you need to be careful with what you're doing out there. Because what you do is going to have an impact on other people, especially if those people conform a fandom of which is full of young teenage kids, children, that can watch your videos because they are not age restricted. So you have to be careful with what you're doing. You need to watch it. You don't know how what you're doing is affecting others. Responsibility is the key word. You need to be careful with what you're doing. You might be impacting negatively on a sizable chunk of this fandom. So you have to be careful. And that goes for everyone out there, everybody, not just the brony analysts. I mean everybody, okay? Be careful with what you do. Because the things that you do are going to have an impact in the end, and you are going to regret doing this kind of thing. And that's the end of the rant.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Remember, whatever you do on the internet, it will be there. Like, it will be there. And just imagine if your boss tries to Google search your name And if they got a hit and the boss sees that you are a douche, the chances of you getting a job may be slim. So, yeah, don't be an idiot online and try to control yourself. At the same time, if you have a personality or if you're a personality in the fandom, be wary of that because whatever you do reflects onto you. I'll just take this as an example. The angry video game nerd, James Rolfe, his character, the nerd, is a foul-mouthed person, and that is not how you're supposed to act in real life. But James Rolfe himself is a quiet, shy person, and most of the people that meet him in real life are surprised by that, and he's not what they expect him to be.
That's a very good example because one of the things that James Rolfe is doing lately is that he has these video series where he's just playing video games with his friend Mike. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't actually show him as the shouty, angry nerd that he is in his angry video game nerd videos. They show him as a very normal guy
who knows a lot about old classic games. Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, it's a good way to compensate one and the other.
Mm-hmm. It's a personality. You should know how to control yourself. Like my personality online versus in real life, we're about the same. And well, I'm a bit foul-mouthed in real life, but I try not to do that here.
Oh, so am I. But yeah, you know what? You many times you have to put up with my swearing when you have to censor myself. But I think that's as bad as I go. I'm never promoting people to become truck drivers with my swearing because oh my god, my swearing. Oh, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. All right. So bottom line, guys, be careful with what you're doing. Be careful with what you're saying, and be careful with what you're showing on the internet.
It reflects to you, and you do not want to be that kind of guy.
It reflects on everything, so please, be careful with what you do. I think we can stop there and move on to what's important, which is the review of last week's episode, which we didn't do because I have been so busy, and I apologize for that delay. So sorry, guys.
I'm sure all the fans are okay by it. We are busy, and well, we know why. So, James, you want to start this review now, or should we continue ranting?
No. Let's not rant, and let's talk about this episode. This episode comes from a very weird place. We have to make kind of like a preamble to this one because this TV show is not particularly known for like all of a sudden bringing an element from a previous generation and working it into the story. Like the first and I think last time we saw this happen was at the very beginning of the series when we had all these characters. Like we had Applejack, we had Twilight, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and these characters that come from the different generations of MLP getting together to summon the Rainbow of Light, and that's pretty much the only thing that has anything to do with the original, with the previous generations. Everything afterwards is absolutely 100% original. Mm-hmm. So this episode introduces an element from none other than Generation 3 and 3.5, which immediately made everybody squeamish about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was squeamish about it as well. I had no idea how they were going to handle the Breezies. But I knew this. I knew that out of all the things that should have saved and that should have been taken from Generation 3 and 3.5, the Breezies was one of them. I don't know if you watched any of that, but I have. And the Breezies in the previous generations were funny and they were enjoyable, but in the same way that those insensitive racist stereotypes are funny and enjoyable in every Michael Bay movie. It's like you laugh at them because you end up becoming numb at them. It's like, you know what? I've been exposed to this for so long that I just find it funny. It's like you get stoned of comedy watching these characters. They are not particularly good, but they are enjoyable. And I was like, okay, they're bringing this to Generation 4. How are they going to handle it? I think that they handled it in such a good way that my brain doesn't want to admit it. Like, in my opinion, this is a really, really good way to bring something from a previous generation into this one. And it does it really good. How about you, Norman?
I don't know. I mean, while watching this for the first time, I was a bit confused in what I saw. I mean, I kind of knew what was going on. I knew all the teams. I knew the whole previous generation thing. I knew everything. I saw it, and it was one of those episodes where, this is a nice episode. This is a fun episode. But when I thought about reviewing it, that stopped me. Because how do I approach this episode? Because it tackles a lot of things that kind of relates. For example, you can't be too kind and blah, 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 all that stuff. But the Breezies, that got me thinking, these are the Breezies from the older generation. And in my mind, this is all toy ploy. It's all marketing. It's all about them promoting their new toys and whatever. And in the end, the Breezies did not hinder the episode that much. In fact, I think they made the episode. They made the episode awesome. And I can't say much. It's a very enjoyable episode.
This isn't an episode that we can go through the narrative and say scene by scene. Okay, this happens, because it's kind of pointless. This episode can literally be another episode about nothing. The plot is very simple. Is that you have these Breezies, which is a type of magical creature that lives in Equestria, like many others, and they are going through Ponyville back to their homeland. Carrying the pollen that they gather in, I think it was Eastern Equestria. That event that happened in Three's a Crowd when Twilight and Cadence were dealing with Discord, the gathering of the pollen from the Breezes was happening, and Fluttershy was taking care of it. So now this is kind of like having the story kind of like conclude. But as they are going through Ponyville, one of a small group of Breezes gets stranded because Spike is
That's not a word.
and he has to like screw everything up. He has. I mean, come on, Spike, you useless twat. It's fine because he apologizes later.
Yeah.
And then they stay there, and there is this one Breezy that is kind of like the leader of the team. It's kind of like hesitant to go back to his place, but the other Breezes don't want to because they're so happy and fine and nice. And then they end up deciding that now they have to go, and so they go, and that's the end of the episode. And you're there thinking, okay, what happened? It literally amounts to pretty much not much. However, it's the kind of episode that is completely saved by the details.
Oh yeah.
If you go through the details of this episode, it is a brilliant one. But that's the thing, we cannot discuss scene by scene, because scene by scene the episode kind of like falls apart.
Like, there's a few scenes that save it from being a mediocre episode, like Spike at Your Service. To me, this is not Spike at Your Service. This is a really good Fluttershy episode, because it touched on how Fluttershy is too nice, and you can't be too nice. People will walk all over you. And like Lionheart Cartoon in the chat says, the other Breezies were freeloaders. That's true.
Yeah, the thing is that, as you say, you cannot always be too nice. You cannot always be too kind. And then you also have the other counterpoint saying that you cannot always treat everybody with shouting and screaming. You have to treat them with respect. So it puts Fluttershy on a level, and it puts Seabreeze on another level, which, by the way, Seabreeze is the leader of the Breezes, voiced by Brian Drummond. Who, by the way, he did an amazing job. I mean, there are things that are enjoyable in that episode, but there is nothing more enjoyable than a Breezy with a mix between Scottish and Swedish accent. His accent is unbelievable. He's so awesome.
I think we can just talk about this episode, like talk the thing about we like and dislike, because it's pointless, like you said before, it's pointless to go through scene by scene, because it's just a normal episode where you can't be too nice or you can't be too rough. That's it. I mean, you want to know how it goes, go watch the episode. Like, people hate it, people like it, and we're on the side of we like it. The Breezies didn't really hurt that much.
Yeah, I am also on the side of liking this episode. I did like this episode. I enjoyed it. Hell, I'll watch it again. I think it's one of the most visually stunning episodes of the entire season. But yeah, like Norman said, we should talk about the things that we like and about the things that we didn't like. And in my opinion, this episode has a lot more things that I liked than things that I didn't like. But I can totally see why people didn't like it. I can totally see why people didn't enjoy it. So... okay, I think we should talk about that. We should just say, guys, if you, like Norman said, if you want to watch the episode or know about the story of the episode, go watch it. You're not going to regret it. So go give it a watch. And just to keep on with my bias towards positivity, we're going to start with the things that we didn't like. So we get the negativity out of the way first, so we can focus on the things that we liked. Is that okay with you, Norman?
I like that. We talk about the bad things first. That's good.
Okay, so fire away, man. What didn't you like about this episode?
Not much. Well, yeah, there's not much. I mean, Spike being the Spike of this episode, he is, how do I put this? The things that he does in this episode is to progress the show along. But do you really need to do that, Spike? I mean, do you really need to bounce up and down? Okay, you're a baby dragon, I understand. So, it's forgivable, yet at the same time, must you do that? The Spike here is the guy who is at fault, but they're okay with it. So, yay, let's move on. And
well, they forgive him because he apologizes. He feels terrible about it. I mean, it could have been a lot worse if Spike didn't apologize. But oh my God, didn't you look at the guy? He was ready to like jump himself off a cliff.
Oh yeah.
He was so apologetic. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me."
Yeah, I don't mind that. I understand. I totally understand. And it's in character for Spike. And you know what? This is just nitpicking for me because Spike is just being Spike. I mean, he's a baby dragon. He gets hyper. I mean, think about it. We too get hyper sometimes. We too jump in place when we get excited. Okay, maybe not jump, but still, we do.
Those who can jump, I cannot jump. I'm too fat. But yeah, go ahead.
But still. And moving on after Spike, there's the freeloader Breezies. I mean, they're a confusing bunch of characters. Like, I can understand why they want to hang out. It's a cool place and they get pampered and yay. But don't they know what's at stake in this? Like, they may not go home. They may be stuck in this place. And you can't expect Fluttershy to take care of you. I mean, don't you know what's at stake?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to try and defend this point. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't think it's a deal breaker for me within the episode. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But then again, this is kind of an episode where not many things make a lot of sense. Even Seabreeze himself brings it up that he says, "I don't understand why this pollen has to be activated with the breeze." That he doesn't understand why their stupid magic works with the breeze created by the ponies. What's the point? So yeah, even when they are lampshading it, this is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek plot development for the episode itself.
Yeah, and I need to say something before we move on. Like, the things that I'm saying right now for the dislike section is things that I'm just nitpicking, really. I'm not really hating on it. I'm just nitpicking. Nitpicking aside, I don't have much to hate on. This episode is really awesome in its execution.
So, wait, hang on a minute. Is that the only things that you have to complain about?
I mean, kind of, because if I go on, it's just nitpicking and just me being a douche. Because overall, those are the things that I kind of didn't like, but because I know what the theme is, I understand why they did them.
Well, to be honest, I don't think I can remember any other thing that I didn't like. I want to address something, though. A couple of people are bringing up the point that Twilight is the one that saves the day in what is supposed to be Fluttershy's key episode. Like, Fluttershy is supposed to be the one that helps and solves the situation. And Twilight is the one that is the key element to the whole thing. And I'm going to say that you are wrong for saying that. Twilight only made a spell to help out a point and to help out Fluttershy, who is the one who came up with the whole idea.
Was it really Fluttershy?
Yeah, because Fluttershy says, oh my god, there are so few of them. We should need more Breezies in order to help them get to their land.
Mm.
And then Twilight is like, hang on a minute, I'm going to turn all of you into Breezies so we can help them and we can also promote Hasbro's new toy. So, yeah, actually, Twilight to this point is like, she is as useful as a magic wand. I mean, she's just an element. She's just a tool of the story used by Fluttershy.
Mm-hmm,
so I wouldn't go and say Fluttershy was useless in her own episode. No, she's not. She faced those bees, she helped the Breezies, she kicked them out of their house when she needed to, and she helped them get to their homeland, safe. And she ended up getting that flower at the end of the episode. It was her key episode, and it worked fine. I honestly don't see what's the point of complaining about it.
There's no problem in it, really.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I cannot think of things that I hated, because even those things that I didn't really liked were not deal breakers for me, and they are not worth mentioning.
That's true. Well, and with every negative, there's a positive. So, want to talk about the positive things?
Yeah, let's talk about the likes. And like always, you first, Norman, please. Go ahead.
Okie dokie. And, well, as for the likes, I do like the intro. The intro was a callback from the Sonic Rainbow episode. It was so good.
Yes, that was awesome.
It's just like, yeah, you can do it, Breezies! Too loud!
You can do it, Breezies! Perfect! Oh, I mean, yay! That was great. That was really great.
Yeah. I mean, this episode is really cool in those kind of callbacks. I mean, the whole show is really cool in that sense, where you do callbacks and stuff, and, well, it's awesome. And another thing I like is the mariachi band. Like, you got Senior Dusty in there.
Oh my god, yes, you're right, the mariachis. Okay, people, everybody, how dare you call this episode the worst episode of the season when you have mariachi ponies in it? You have mariachi. You have a band of mariachi singing like boleros or whatever it is. I don't know what mariachis sing, but you have mariachis in this show. How can you call this episode bad when you have mariachis in the... Oh, God. You know what? Argument is invalid. There are mariachis in Equestria. Yeah. My life is completed.
Yep. And also, that one mariachi player looks like one Dusty Kitty we know.
Yeah, you're right. One of the mariachis looked a lot like Dusty Cat from Stay Running, My Friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could be a coincidence.
Yeah, no, of course it's a coincidence, because after all, Dusty's OC, like every good OC out there, he looks like a regular background pony. Mm-hmm. He has very simple, very easy color scheme, not complicated at all. So sooner or later, they were going to come with a similar design. After all, similar minds, great minds think alike, as they say.
Yep. And they're Mexican, so they're supposed to have mustaches.
Of course. Come on. Oh my gosh. I completely forgot about the mariachis. How dare I?
Yeah. And after the mariachi things, I also like Rarity. Rarity in this episode is just so awesome.
Rarity in this episode was too much.
Oh yeah, like too much glitter.
Too much sequence, too much glitter. Oh my.
But I do like the banter between Rarity and Twilight. Like, she blames Twilight for having too much purple.
Yeah, and Twilight is like, wait, no, I didn't do that.
Okay, she takes off her jacket, and wow, is her coat white?
Of course, because she's brilliant, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this episode is just full of awesomeness.
Okay, what else besides Rarity and the mariachis? Like, you see, as you can realize, you're not mentioning yet anything from the actual show, from the actual story or what the focus is. And that goes back to what I said before, is that this episode is absolutely saved by the details.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we all know that this episode is about not being too mean or not being too kind. You need to have a balance in between. And, well, there is an episode of you should not be mean or you should not be too kind. It's that. we can't say anything much because it's a lesson that we should learn and we should practice because that's a real life lesson. I mean, I can't say anything much about that. So instead of hammering that lesson into your audience, is that, okay, episode is good. Here's what you need to learn from it. Okay, moving on. I like the Mariachi band. I like Rarity's outfit. I like the way they act. Yay. What else can we say about this episode?
Well, keep on saying the things that you like. Don't let me stop you.
Yeah, indeed. One thing I am confused before I move on is the Breezies. There's, Sea Breeze is a male Breezy?
Yes, he is. He's a guy.
How? I'm looking at the design and I can't tell if one female Breezy is different from another male Breezy. Like,
well, you know how in Pokemon you have Lediba and Ledian, and both of them are kind of like ladybugs.
Yeah.
But one of them is male and the other. Well, there you go.
Okay, but you know sometimes there's
different. You know what? Yeah, of course, and there are you know what, the argument about the whole, how can this guy be a guy and how can this girl be a girl? Everything is described in a movie called A Bug's Life, where you have a male ladybug who starts the movie and everybody calls him lady, but he turns out to be a guy.
Oh god.
So yeah, you know what? Same argument there. Besides, Seabreeze also had this badass black jacket, like it was awesome, and the white fluff and everything. I was looking at him and I was thinking he has to be a motorbiker back in his place.
That is true. But aside from that, fun fact about Seabreeze here, he's played by Brian Drummond.
Yeah, he's played by Brian Drummond, who in the Canadian version, in the Canadian dub of Dragon Ball Z, and I think in the English dub as well, he voices Vegeta.
Yes, like that will blow your mind. Like he is Vegeta.
And he is also the father of, I think it's he's the father of the voice actress that voices Babsy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like fun fact for you there. Like, don't think that CC character can be awesome.
Speaking about Seabreeze, I love that character.
I can see why.
He is one of my favorite new characters that got introduced this season, along with Coco Pomel and Cheese Sandwich. Like every episode that has to deal with the main six getting their different keys, they have introduced characters, except for Rainbow Falls, but they have introduced characters that are awesome. They have motivations and they have storylines that are like they have character arcs that get completed in the background as the episode moves forward. Like, as the episode was going and Seabreeze kept acting like pretty much like a bit of a jerk, I kept getting angry at him, like angry, and I'm like, and by the point he's like, why are you doing this? I am never going to get home. I was like, oh wow, what a whiny guy. Why do you have to be like that? And then the scene where he gets back to his place and he meets up with his wife, who's holding his baby, and they hug, and I'm like, oh.
Now you know why.
Oh, oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Oh god. And I was like, oh my god, that's so sweet. They resolve his character arc in one scene with no dialogue, no nothing. It's just gestures, it's just actions. You see them hugging and him holding his baby, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet, that's awesome. So that's why he wanted to get back home. He wanted to get back home because he wanted to get back to his newborn son and his wife. That's brilliant. And they did that with a single piece of dialogue. You don't need to say that. You don't need to say anything. You just need to see it. That's so good. That's so well done.
Yep. And well, what you say is true, because why does a person have so much motivation to go home? What is the reason? Why? I mean, couldn't they wait for the next portal to open? No.
He's so desperate to get back home that he is, at one point, leaves the house and tries to go on his own, which leads to one of the most interesting moments of the entire episode, where everything is seen from the perspective of the Breezies. And that's one thing that I wanted to see in the show. And actually, I'm very satisfied with what they have done. Like when Fluttershy starts taking care of the Breezies, you can see them using thimbles as glasses, or they have like small paper towels as blankets.
Yeah. And also the way they eat grapes is like the way that we eat apples or something like that.
Yeah, the way they eat grapes like they eat corn.
Mm-hmm.
So when Seabreeze gets out in the world, everything is massive. Like a tiny acorn is like a missile, and a small breeze is like a tornado for them. Or when he gets stuck in the beehive, all the bees they look like they look like terrible monsters. So it's like that's so cool. That's something that I really enjoy. How they turn something completely familiar and like mundane into an adventure. It's like it's a complete new universe. Movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Inner Space, they turn things that are absolute miniatures into a complete adventure.
Yep.
That was one of the biggest appeals of movies like Toy Story, is that they turn something that is normal and little and insignificant, and they turn it into something huge, something massive.
Something like the Lego movie, which you should watch. I recommend it.
How many times have we plugged the Lego movie already in this show?
I have
5,
no idea.
6. Are we going to get free Legos? Like, I'm pretty sure that a small percentage of the movie's profits come thanks to us plugging the movie.
Yep, I hope so.
And you know what? What's going to happen is that YouTube is going to come to us because, oh no, you infringe copyright. You mentioned this movie, but we didn't show any clip. Shut up, copyright infringement.
Talking about other IPs, I do like the Doctor Who and Rose Luck reference in here.
Oh, right. Because at one point in the background, you see Roslack and the Doctor wearing 3D glasses walking in the background.
Yep.
And not only that, he's also wearing a tie.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed, but he is wearing a tie. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's brilliant. It's the second time we have seen the Doctor and Roslack together in this season. Yeah, the first time we saw them in the background of Flight to the Finish.
Yep, that's just awesome. That's just so awesome. And well, I think that's about it, right? We got nothing more good to say about this.
Well, no. Let me mention the one thing that people, I'm pretty sure they are waiting to hear our opinion on it.
Okay.
And it's the scene where the main six are turned into Breezies.
Yes, that one.
That didn't bother me.
Okay.
That didn't bother me at all. However, that scene made me remember that I was watching a 22-minute long commercial. It's kind of like this show is good enough to draw you in with their good writing and their great characters that you forget every single episode is a 22-minute long commercial. Ever since season 1. The thing is that sometimes the show is so good you forget about it, and that's why you can say that it has great writing, it has great characters, because you forget they are trying to sell you a toy. However, when the main six get turned into Breezies, the only thing that was missing from that scene was a price tag on it saying, "Battery is not included, but your parents to buy you one. You want these toys."
Yeah.
So that was, and it didn't bother me that much. I was just like,
Yeah, true.
You didn't really need to turn the main six into Breezies, but then you could admit to see the Breezy world and several of the main six turn into Breezies. Actually, they look really good. Like I really like Rarity's look as a Breezy.
Yeah, I mean all of the main six as Breezies looks good, looks cute.
Yeah, not only they look cute, Rainbow Dash looks like, speaking of Dragon Ball, she looks like she's about to go Super Saiyan on everybody. It's like, wow, that's awesome.
Yay.
It's like she looks badass.
Yep, true that.
So, yeah, and okay, in that point, I cannot find anything to complain about either. One last point, and I'm pretty sure people want to know this, because I know that you want to know this because you're a Fluttershy fan. I did like Fluttershy in this episode.
Okay.
I really liked her. This is the way her assertiveness should have been addressed in Putting Your Hoof Down. Like, at one point she has to get nasty. She needs to get angry, and she needs to put her hoof down in order to save these Breezies. And when she does that, when she kicks them out of her house, you can see how much that tears her apart. Yeah. You can see how broken she is. She's not even sobbing. She's crying in silence. It's like that completely breaks her.
Yeah, the first time when I saw that, I felt sadness. I felt for her. I was choking, man. Like,
That was hard to watch.
Yeah, man, like, you know her element is kindness, and going against what she know really breaks you apart, and it made me feel sad for her. And the scene, just the scene, like, DHX really knows how to build a scene from what the scriptwriter gave.
Every key episode this season has dealt with each one of the main six that has gotten their key so far, breaking their element.
Oh, yeah.
And breaking it in such a way that it actually is difficult to watch. Like when you have Pinkie Pie leaving the town in Pinkie Pride, or Rarity going after her friends and threatening her winning the contest, and she sings that super sad song, or Rainbow Dash basically abandoning both teams.
Oh, yeah.
And in this one, with Fluttershy being nasty to the Breezes because of their own good. Which is a very believable situation, to be honest with you. I don't know how many times you've gotten angry with someone because you know that what you want them to do is the right thing for them, and you cannot be kind about it. You actually need to get angry because it doesn't get through their thick skull. So you are like, okay, I'm gonna have to get angry with you. I'm sorry, but you left me no choice. That's the same situation in this episode. That was very relatable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this show is relatable, and we can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, we can debate all we want about how this episode is just a marketing ploy for the Breezies toy that's coming out. But in the end, the show itself is all about teaching a lesson that we relate to, or we should relate to.
Okay, bottom line, I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it more than I am willing to admit, which is kind of like a trend going on with episodes lately. It happened with Twilight Time, it happened with Initiative and Breezes, and it happened with Some Pony to Watch Over Me. I don't know why. I keep saying I enjoyed this episode more than I am willing to admit, but it is true. I did enjoy this episode more than I am willing to admit. It's not a guilty pleasure. I think this episode is genuinely good.
Yep.
It's not a Mysterious Murder Well. It's not Dragon Quest. It is definitely far away from my worst of the season list.
Yeah, true. I mean, a guilty pleasure is like, I love watching Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
I love watching Alone in the Dark. You know, the Drupal movie? Oh my god, Blood Rain is so awesome. I cannot wait to watch Postal. Yeah,
those are guilty pleasures.
Yeah, those are guilty pleasures. You are watching something that you know is really bad and that everybody knows is really bad, but you are enjoying it anyways.
Yep.
This episode is... I liked it. It's not like I always say with episodes in this show, there are not bad episodes, there are not good episodes, there are episodes that you like, there are episodes that you don't like.
And this is one of them. And before I forget, I like the spell that Twilight did and the way that Rainbow Dash sits. So I always kind of wondered what it's like to be a griffin. That was so cute.
Oh no, yeah, that was awesome. I was really happy with that one scene. It's like, Dash always wanted to know what it was to be a griffin. Maybe she has some unresolved issues with Gilda. I wonder if we're going to see her again.
I hope so. Anyway, fanfic writers, go do your thing.
I'm not sure about fanfic writers, but fan art has already popping out of the episodes. John Joseco had a drawing even before the episode ended.
Yeah, and he did 2 of them.
Yeah.
My goodness, this episode was just so good.
This episode was brilliant.
But anyway, James...
Yeah, I think that's it for this episode review. We're gonna be reviewing another one next. I'm not sure if we're going to review it right away, but we're going to have a couple of reviews for you guys this week that you can watch.
Yep, we're going to try and push the 2 weeks episode along because we don't want to get this episode stuck in our heads. We need to talk about it. Like, good episodes need to be talked. Bad episodes need to be ranted. But anyway...
So far it's kind of funny because we haven't had an episode to rant about.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, honestly, it is really good. So I guess that's it for It Ain't Easy Being Breezes. I have been James Corck.
And I have been Norman Sanzo. And James, before we end, what's next week's episode or the next episode of this review?
Next episode that we're going to review is Some Pony to Watch Over Me, written by newcomer writer Scott Sonneborn. That's episode 17 of season 4.
Alrighty then.
It's an Applejack and Apple Bloom episode.
Yay. You shall be judged, mister. You shall be judged.
See So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you didn't get too mad at me because I had a different opinion from yours. But remember the Mystery Science Theater motto is just a show. You should really just relax.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And we'll see you guys next episode. Bye.
Adios.